Hello, my name is Brian Cronin. I welcome you to part 2 of this tutorial on EQE Paper C opposition. Part 2 is planning. Have you already done the part 1 tutorial assimilating and organizing information? Let's start with a continuation from part 1. In the assimilation of information which we did in part 1, we set up a matrix called a novelty matrix because we will be able to use it to quickly determine if any claim is novel or not novel over each piece of prior art. The structure of the novelty matrix is claims on the left, where the claim features are listed, and vertical columns for documents A2 to A6. We filled the matrix vertical column by vertical column with brief indications whether or not the various claimed features are present in the documents A2 to A6. In this way, we began to organize the information as a function of the future attacks, claim by claim, starting with an assessment of whether or not each claim is novel. Also, during the assimilation of information, we marked or highlighted passages on the documents for easy reference as we go ahead and develop and rehearse the attacks. Now we'll consider how to build up a plan. Building up a plan implies converting the input information, which is the previous document-by-document vertical scan, into a series of potential attacks against each claim, which is by a claim-by-claim horizontal scan, starting with an assessment of whether or not the claim is novel over each document. Building up the plan involves identifying the potential attacks against each claim, checking and consolidating the various attacks, and if you have a choice, selecting the best inventive step attack against each claim. How does this look on the novelty matrix? Here we see a horizontal arrow along the claim 1 row. We start with claim 1, considering which features of claim 1 are present in each document A2 to A6. And we determine if the claim is novel or not novel in relation to each document. And for each novel claim, we consider which combinations of the documents lead to the full subject matter of the claim. Then we output the potential attacks against the claim. We output to the right by a horizontal scan of the novelty matrix. So we output the attacks to the right. Then we repeat with claim 2 and we put the attacks for claim 2 on the right. Claim 3, the attacks against claim 3 come on the right. Claim 4, claim 5, down to claim 6, and we put the attacks against claim 6 on the right. Next, in greater detail, we'll consider how we build up the potential attacks. As I mentioned, we consider each claim in turn, starting with claim 1. We identify lack of novelty over any document first and mark up lack of novelty attacks. If a claim is novel, can you identify a document which is potentially the closest prior art and which usually discloses a designation of the subject matter and has one missing feature? And can you additionally identify a secondary document or documents which has the missing feature, which together with the closest prior art makes up the total subject matter of the claim? For each novel claim, we then mark up a single inventive step attack, or at this stage, possibly several different possible inventive step attacks. When you have completed the list of potential attacks, you have to check the inventive step attacks to consolidate the basis for arguments. And if you have more than one potential inventive step attack against a claim, you have to ascertain which is the best attack, which is a choice of closest prior art and the best argument possibilities. Let's now start with claim 1. Because of the small space on the slides, I've placed the documents A2, A3, and A4, and A5 and A6 on two superimposed rows. Of course, these are on a single row in the novelty matrix, where of course the claims are in a column on the left. So this slide represents the claim 1 row of the novelty matrix. Also, for convenience, I've included some comments which you needn't include in your matrix, and I recommend that you do not include comments in your matrix, but you can easily do that in your head from the matrix, which gives you a better overall view. Let's now have a look at the different documents. A2 oral presentation discloses all features of claim 1, so claim 1 is not novel over A2. Claim 1 is novel over A3, which has a constant thickness. Claim 1 is novel over A4, which has no damper. Claim 1 lacks novelty over A5, which discloses all of the features of claim 1. A6 is a 54.3 document, and it discloses all features of claim 1, so claim 1 lacks novelty also over A6. Therefore, we can write down three planned attacks. Claim 1 lacks novelty over A2 oral presentation, over A5, and over A6 54.3 document. Although claim 1 is novel over A3 and A4, there is no point at this stage in developing an inventive step attack starting from A3 or A4. Instead, we can wait and see what happens with the other claims. You can list the planned attacks beside the novelty matrix on the right-hand side, or on a planning sheet attached to the claims. That's what I do. Next is the plan of attacks against claim 2. Here I've represented the double rows of claim 1 and claim 2 of the novelty matrix, because claim 2 includes the subject matter of claim 1. You can easily ascertain from the novelty matrix that claim 2 is novel over each prior art document A2 to A6. So we're looking for lack of inventive step. As claim 2 is entitled to priority, A6 is a 54.3 document, so A6 drops out. A4, because of its content, is no good as closest prior art. A2, A3, or A5 could be closest prior art. It seems to me that A3 is the most promising because it has a unidirectional snowboard, and the differentiating feature is the variation of thickness of the core along the length. This varied thickness feature can come from A2 or A4 or A5. We'll have to check which is the best secondary document. A2 or A5 are less promising as closest prior art. They do not have a unidirectional snowboard, but they could import the unidirectional snowboard from A3. So we note down the potential attacks against claim 2 to be verified and selected. We will select one planned attack from the following attacks. claim 2 lacks inventive step over A3 plus varying thickness from the best of A2 oral or A4 or A5, or as a possible second approach, A2 oral or A5 as closest prior art plus unidirectional snowboard of A3, and we will check those attacks later. We'll verify and select later. Next, we turn to the attacks against claim 3. As claim 3 includes the subject matter of claim 1, I've represented the double rows of claim 1 and claim 3 on this slide. You can easily see from the novelty matrix that claim 3 is novel over each prior art document A2 to A6. So we're looking once again for lack of inventive step. In this case, A6 is a 54-2 document because claim 3 has the filing date. A2 stands out as closest prior art. It's the only document with a freestyle snowboard, and the missing feature is the matrix. I noted down that only A6 has something like a matrix, but I wasn't sure of the A6 disclosure, so this will have to be checked to consolidate the attack. So the planned attack will then be claim 3 lacks inventive step over A2 blog or oral, freestyle snowboard, but dumper has no matrix or composite. Importing the matrix from A6 question mark to be checked. Next is a plan of attacks against claim 4.2, which is entitled to priority. The slide has a similar layout. The slide illustrates the features of claim 1 and claims 2 and 4 together, so you can ascertain from the novelty matrix that claim 4.2, claim 4 when it depends upon claim 2, is novel over each prior art document A2 to A6. As we're looking for lack of inventive step, A6 is ruled out because it's a 54-3 document against claim 4 when it depends upon 2. A3 has all the features of claim 4 when it depends upon 2, except that the thickness is constant. The variable thickness could come from A2 or A4 or A5. On the other hand, A2 has all the features of claim 2, claim 4 when it depends upon claim 2, except for a unidirectional snowboard that could come from A3. We will need to check which of the following attacks is best. There will be one planned attack, either claim 4 lacks inventive step over A3 plus varying thickness from the best of A2 oral or A4 or A5, or A2 oral is taken as the closest prior art, bringing in a unidirectional snowboard from A3. We have to check those attacks later. We'll put the checking of the attacks until the end. And now we'll go to claim 5. The slide shows the row for claim 5 against A2 to A6. From the novelty matrix, we can see that claim 5 is novel over each piece of prior art, and we're looking for lack of inventive step once again. A6 is 54-3 again, and therefore set aside. A combination of A3 and A5 gets to the subject matter of claim 5. A5 looks good if we confirm that the first monolithic platelet is suitable for sensing oscillation modes, which was not clear to me on my first reading, so it'll have to be checked. Starting from A5, missing frequency range, and bringing in A3 for the frequency range seems to be the most straightforward combination. We need to check for feasibility. If okay, we will adopt it. So for claim 5, I have one potential planned attack, claim 5 lacks inventive step over A5, lacking the range 30 to 80 Hz, and bringing in the frequency range 30 to 80 Hz from A3 to be checked. If it's not feasible, we'll come back and check A3 plus A5. Next, we go to claim 6. Here now is the claim 6 row against A2 to A6. The novelty matrix shows that claim 6 is novel over each piece of prior art. We're looking for lack of inventive step again. This time A6 is a 54.2 document and can be considered. A4, A5 and A6 don't seem to be relevant. We could take A2, which has missing measuring with the damper unmounted, and bring in this feature from A3, or we could start from A3, which is missing the variation of thickness, and bring in this feature from A2 or A4 to be checked. So we have one planned attack which will be chosen between the following candidates. Claim 5 lacks inventive step over A2 plus measurement with damper unmounted from A3, or A3 plus variable core thickness from A2 or A4 to be checked and consolidated. Let's now go ahead with the checking and consolidation of our potential attacks. It's important to check and elaborate your planned attacks or your potential attacks before going ahead with writing the statement. Checking involves choice of the attacks, revision of the basis of the arguments in support of the attack, and rehearsal of the attacks for writing the statement. The main points I have to check are claim 2, choice of A3 or A2 as closest prior art, claim 5, consolidation of the best looking attack A5 plus A3, and claim 6, choice of A2 or A3 as closest prior art. Let's now turn to claim 2. For claim 2, we need to choose an attack with A3 or A2 as closest prior art. We'll start by considering A3 as closest prior art and investigate which is the best secondary document that goes with A3. So on the slide we have A3 is a unidirectional snowboard as in claim 2. The distinguishing feature is varying the core thickness along the length. The effect of this distinguishing feature is better adaptation of the snowboard to anatomy and improves ergonomics. This is from A1 paragraph 9. When we turn to the secondary documents, A2 oral has improved turning properties in paragraph 4. A4 has an upper surface which is curved in paragraph 5, which is better adapted to the anatomy, paragraph 6, and provides improved ergonomics, paragraph 8. And A5 facilitates turning of a ski on snow in paragraph 3. Most promising attack is A3 plus A4 because of the close fit of the claimed effect of anatomy ergonomics and what is achieved by A4. Then we turn to A2 as possible closest prior art. Now we're assuming A2 oral or A5 is closest prior art. A2 is a freestyle snowboard, and the distinguishing feature is a different type of snowboard used for downhill racing, in other words, for a different purpose. A5 is a snow ski which glides on snow like a unidirectional snowboard, but has a narrower body for fitting one foot, different from a snowboard that has a wider body, A1 paragraph 1. In other words, a ski is a different type of sports article for a different purpose. At this point, A3's unidirectional snowboard seems to be a better starting point than a different purpose snowboard A2 or a different purpose ski A5. So we will say that the chosen attack would be against claim 2 would be A3 plus A4. Note that the same purpose is an important factor in choosing the closest prior art, and here the secondary documents had different purpose. Next, we'll check the attack against claim 3 for lack of inventive step. The point to be checked here, at least the point I need to check, is whether A6 has a matrix. We need a disclosure of the missing feature, which is a matrix, and A6 is the only document which discloses anything like a matrix. So I turn to A6 disclosure. Paragraph 3 talks about fibers of piezoelectric material embedded in a polymer resin. See also A6's claim. Then I look at A1 for the claim 3 counterpart, and in A1 paragraph 17 I find that fibers are embedded in a matrix, e.g. a flexible polymer resin. Hence there is an equality there. A6 discloses a composite of a matrix and fibers of piezoelectric material. So the proposed attack A2 plus A6 against claim 3 is confirmed. Let's now outline this attack. A2 is closest prior art because it has a freestyle snowboard, paragraph 3. The differentiating feature of the claim 3 over A2 is that the damper comprises a composite of a matrix and fibers of piezoelectric material. The effect of the differentiating feature is that the matrix is not brittle, it reduces the risk of breaking and improves reliability. This comes from the opposed patent A1, paragraph 17 and paragraph 15. The problem solved is improved reliability. The secondary document A6, paragraph 3, discloses a composite of a matrix and fibers of piezoelectric material, and paragraph 9 of A6 solves the problem of reliability, so the attack seems to be complete and we will maintain the attack. Next, we check on the attack against claim 4 when it depends upon claim 2. Here the P27 material was already disclosed in the closest prior art A3, so this is a simple carryover of the attack against claim 2. In other words, the unidirectional snowboard of A3 has P27 plus A4's varying thickness. The attack against A3 plus A4 against claim 4 when it depends upon 2 is therefore confirmed, and as this attack is simple, the available credit will be low. Next, a check on the attack for lack of inventive step of claim 5. A5 is assumed as closest prior art, but I had a question whether the first flat piece of piezoelectric material is suitable for sensing oscillation modes. Therefore, I need to check this to validate the attack. So I reviewed paragraph 5 and paragraph 6 of A5. Paragraph 5 says the sensor detects any unwanted oscillation mode, and paragraph 6 said monolithic platelets, which are a flat piece according to A1 paragraph 13, is used as a sensor. Therefore, A5's first flat piece of piezoelectric material is suitable for sensing oscillation modes. So the chosen attack A5 against A3 will stand up, and next we'll outline this attack. Here is the outline of attack A5 plus A3 against claim 5. A5 is the closest prior art damper for frequency selecting damping. The differentiating feature is frequency selective in the range 30 to 80 Hertz. The effect of this differentiating feature is the reduction of chatter, and the problem is to reduce chatter. The secondary document A3, title, paragraph 3 and paragraph 8 says that 30 to 80 Hertz reduces chatter, so we get to the full subject matter of claim 5 by the combination, so this attack stands up. Next, we complete our planning for claim 6. We are checking two potential attacks against claim 6, A2 plus A3 or A3 plus A4. First, we're assuming that A2 is the closest prior art. The differentiating feature is measuring torsion amplitude with damper unmounted. The effect, it is not necessary to repeatedly mount the damper. This comes from the opposed patent A1, paragraph 18. The problem to be solved is to save time, also A1, paragraph 18. The secondary document A3 solves the problem in paragraph 10 and 11 and says that the solution is quickly obtainable. So the combination of A2 plus A3 looks good, and we'll now consider A3 as closest prior art. Assuming then A3 is closest prior art, the differentiating feature is varying the core thickness along the length. The effect is better adaptation to anatomy and improved ergonomics. The problem solved is improved ergonomics. The secondary document A2 discloses improved turning, and the secondary document A4 discloses a curved upper surface and discusses the anatomy and riding at higher speeds and improved ergonomics, all in paragraph 8. So the combination A3 plus A4 also looks good. So at this stage, either A2 or A3 are both good candidates. It seem to be good candidates for closest prior art. But which of A2 or A3 is best as closest prior art? We have to choose. Let's turn over. For the choice of closest prior art, we can take a look at the overall disclosures of A2 and A3. A2 has a comprehensive disclosure of claim 6 features, except the measuring without a damper. A3 has two separate setups, paragraph 5 and 6, that have to be combined, but their combination is questioned in paragraph 11. The dampers of the second setup are incompatible with the iteration method of the second setup, so it would seem difficult to justify the combination for the overall method. Therefore, A2 seems to be the better as closest prior art. The chosen attack against claim 6 will then be A2 plus A3. As you've been going along, checking and consolidating, you will have been rehearsing each attack so you can write it up smoothly later. Now we've been through the attacks for all claims, we'll present a list of the selected attacks. Here is the list of attacks claim by claim. Claim 1, lack of novelty 3 times, over A2 oral, over A5, and over A6. Claim 2, lack of inventive step, A3 plus A4. Claim 3, lack of inventive step, A2 oral or blog, plus A6. Claim 4, when it depends on claim 2, lack of inventive step, A3 plus A4. This is a simple carryover from the attack against claim 2. Claim 4, when it depends upon claim 3, the attack is non-compliance with Article 1232 or Article 100C EPC. Claim 5, the attack is lack of inventive step A5 plus A3. and claim 6, the selected attack is lack of inventive step, A2 oral or blog, plus A3. We can write the list beside the novelty matrix, or as I mentioned, better still on a planning sheet attached to the claims. You don't have to write the list of attacks in one go. Let it build up as you go along. Before you go ahead with writing, the list has to be complete with at least one attack against each claim. If there's a gap in the list, if any claim remains unattacked, you have to go back to the matrix and fill the gap. The complete list will then be your guide for writing the attacks one after the other. Are you ready now to go ahead? The claim-by-claim list of attacks culminates the planning stage, and you should be ready to go ahead with writing the statement of opposition. Time is short, but you shouldn't be in a hurry. If you start writing before your plan is complete, and before you have made adequate notes highlighting on the documents the information you need for the attacks, your writing will be inefficient, the content of your attacks will be insufficient, and this will take more time than necessary. So you must have a complete and well worked out plan before you start writing. On the other hand, if you are practicing, before you write your attacks, you may want to check your attacks from the examiner's report and correct where necessary, so you'll be practicing writing correct attacks. It's much better to practice writing correct attacks, which is practicing to pass the exam, than to practice writing bad attacks, which is practicing how to fail the exam. So then, what is next? It remains for you to write the statement of opposition in a structured fashion, dealing with the formal points, using the framework of your plan for the various attacks, and making use of the notes you made on the documents to bulk out the arguments. This is going to be the subject of part 3 of the tutorial. Now, some closing words. This is the end of part 2 planning of our tutorial on opposition paper C. Please continue with part 3 of the tutorial, the end product. I wish you good luck. À bientôt.